Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a time when operating on a beating heart wasn't just risky, it was considered absolute madness. A time when a single flicker of the lights could mean instant death on the operating table. Well, that was the world Dr. Kersi Dastur walked into. And he didn't just face the odds, he completely changed the game.
So what you're looking at here, this isn't just some piece of old equipment. It's basically a miracle of engineering from a totally different time. It's a mechanical heart and a set of mechanical lungs. And its only job was to do something that sounds impossible. To pause a person's heart, let a surgeon fix it, and then bring it back to life. This machine was the key to unlocking a whole new world of surgery.
All right, let's set the scene. The year is 1946. The world is just starting to pick up the pieces after the war, and India is right on the edge of independence. So you've got this incredible mix of huge challenges, but also amazing opportunities. And right into the middle of all of this walks our main character, a young surgeon with a pretty revolutionary idea.
And this is the man himself, Dr. Kersi Dastur. Now, he was coming back to Mumbai with a seriously prestigious title, Fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons. But he wasn't just bringing back knowledge. He had this burning ambition to drag cardiac surgery into the future for a country that was, medically speaking, kind of stuck in the past. Okay, we really need to put this in perspective. In the West, open-heart surgery was already a huge, dangerous gamble. But in India, it wasn't just a gamble. It was basically science fiction. The country just didn't have the tools, the specialized training, or even the reliable electricity to make it work. The gap between his dream and the reality he was facing was just massive. So, what do? How do you make science fiction real? Well, you can't just be a surgeon. You have to become an inventor, an engineer, a pioneer. For Dr. Dastur, this mission became an obsession. It pushed him way beyond what anyone thought was even possible. And get this, he wasn't just a surgeon, he was a student of the machine itself. He spent night after night in a steel factory, of all places, taking apart and putting back together the heart-lung machine until he knew it inside and out. Think about that, not a medical library, a factory. He knew that once he was in that operating room, he was totally on his own. There was no one to call for help. And the challenges weren't just about the tech, they were way more basic than that. Can you imagine holding someone's life in your hands with their heart stopped, relying completely on a machine plugged into a power grid that could fail at any second? There was no backup generator. None. A power surge, a blackout, and it's over. That was the razor's edge they were living on every single day. But here's the thing, he wasn't alone. This was his team, the crew that stood right there with him in February 1961, right on the edge of making history. You've got Dr. Dastur, his anesthetist, Dr. Janak Mehta, and the whole team. They were this incredible group of pioneers, all in it together. So all those years of studying, all those sleepless nights in the factory, the insane pressure, it all came down to this one single, incredibly fragile moment. The chance to save a child's life with a surgery that had never, ever been pulled off successfully in India before. This was a test of more than just medical skill. It was a test of pure courage. I mean, that's the central problem of heart surgery, isn't it? It's like trying to fix a car's engine while it's still running. The heart's job is to pump. To operate, you need it to be still. But if you stop it, the patient dies. Solving that paradox is the entire point of the heart-lung machine. The bypass. Okay, so let's break down how this works using a simple analogy. Think of your circulatory system as a super busy highway, and the heart is a major bridge. Step 1, create a detour. You reroute all the blood away from the heart and into the heart-lung machine. Step 2, stop the traffic. The heart is safely stopped, which gives you a perfectly still, quiet place to work. Step 3, repair the main road. The surgeon can now go in and fix whatever's wrong. And finally, step 4, reopen the highway. The heart is restored, it takes over again, and the traffic of life starts flowing just like before. On that historic day, Dr. Dastur and his team navigated this whole complex process perfectly. So that first surgery was a massive achievement, a huge deal. But in medicine, doing something once, even if it's amazing, isn't enough. To really start a revolution, Dr. Dastur had to prove that this wasn't just a one-off miracle. He had to show it could be a new standard of care. Right. The next big challenge was to do it again. And again, he had to build a real track record to prove to everyone that this crazy new procedure was a reliable, life-saving option for people all over India. He had to prove it wasn't a fluke, but the start of something big. And if you want proof, well, the numbers don't lie.
This chart just says it all. It shows the incredible impact of what Dr. Dastur was doing. This bar here, that's the grim reality of the national average survival rate at the time. And this other bar, that's the survival rate coming out of his unit. This isn't just a small improvement, it's a giant leap. It's proof of lives saved and a whole new era for medicine in India.
You know, it's easy to focus on the big firsts, right? The moments that make headlines. But the true story of a pioneer like him is found in the hundreds of impossible, life-or-death decisions he had to make every single day when things got messy and the right answer wasn't obvious at all. So put yourself in his shoes for a minute. You have a patient, and without some kind of daring intervention, they are going to die. That's a certainty. But you have an idea, a new, high-risk move that has a chance, maybe just a small chance, of a complete cure. What do? Do you take the surgical gamble or accept the certain outcome? That was the kind of choice he was facing all the time. But here's the key thing about him. He wasn't some reckless cowboy surgeon. He was a master of the calculated risk. His reputation was built on taking on the absolute hardest cases, the ones that other surgeons considered hopeless, and doing them with meticulous care. His boldness was always backed up by incredible skill and planning. So what can we all learn from a career like that? What are the big lessons from a whole lifetime spent on the cutting edge? All right, let's pretend for a minute that we're med students on rounds with the man himself, and let's see what core ideas drove him. Okay, here's our big attending physician takeaway. Dr. Dastur believed the single most critical trait for any surgeon wasn't how skilled their hands were. It was their judgment. That's it. That ability to stay totally calm and make the right call when everything is going haywire. To be the anchor in the middle of a storm. And what's really fascinating is that his own philosophy wasn't set in stone. It grew over time. You know, he started his career when it was all about the surgeon's hands. That's basically all you had. But by the end, he saw technology as a true partner, something that could take human skill and just amplify it to make the impossible possible. Which kind of leaves us with one final big question to think about. Today, we have medical technology that Dr. Dastur and his team could have only dreamed of. We have the tools. But his story really forces us to ask something deeper. Technology can tell us how to do something, but it can't tell us why we should try. It gives us the tools, but what gives us the courage to use them when the odds feel impossible? That, right there, is the heart of this pioneer's story.